At the beginning of the drama, we are shown our female lead, Mary, who is the owner of a small startup, and she has come to a company to give a presentation of her designs. But the directors there get very bored listening to her presentation and also start making fun of her. Seeing this, Mary gets angry and says, "I don't want to work with people like you. What do you think? That you have a lot of power, but I am not afraid of you." After saying a lot more, Mary leaves from there. Then, she comes to a printing shop, and she is talking on call with her only employee, through which we come to know that they don't have many clients, and the condition of her company is very bad. Then, she gives a template to the printing press guy, and asks him to fix something in it, from which it becomes clear that she can tolerate a little loss, but she provides good service to her clients. After that, she comes to a jewelry shop and buys couple rings, which tells us that she is soon going to marry a man named Kim Woo-ju. On the other side, they show Woo-ju, who is having fun with another girl, meaning he is cheating on Mary. Then, Mary messages him, but he ignores her. After that, we see Mary, who comes home at night and is talking to her mom, from which we learn that Mary's mom is a single mother and Mary belongs to a poor family. Her mom says, "You shouldn't have registered your marriage so soon," meaning Mary hasn't officially registered her marriage yet. From their conversation, we learn that Mary's husband Woo-ju's family is very rich, but still, Mary is paying for all the wedding preparations. Then, something pricks Mary's foot, and when she looks, it's an earring. Then, she says bye to her mom and cuts the call and starts looking at that earring carefully. After that, she also finds some other girl's hair on the pillow. Seeing all this, she starts doubting Woo-ju inside, and the next day, she meets Woo-ju at a cafe and asks him about everything. First, she opens his Instagram account and shows him, asking, "Who is this girl who likes your every post?" Hearing this, he tries to avoid the topic. Then, she directly asks, "Did you sleep with her?" Hearing this shocks him. After that, she shows him the earring too and says, "I found this near your bed," and also shows the photo of that girl who was wearing those earrings and who likes Woo-ju's every post. Now, when all the evidence is in front of him, Woo-ju accepts that yes, he slept with that girl, but apologizing, he says this won't happen from now on. "I won't do this. That girl was just a time pass. I love you." But while saying all this, he doesn't feel even a little bit guilty. Then he gets a message from that girl named Jenny, and she says, "I am waiting for you." Seeing this, Woo-ju tries to hide his phone, but Mary snatches the phone from him to see it. In the scuffle, Woo-ju breaks his own phone, but during this, Mary also gets hurt. Woo-ju says, "Why did you need to cross your line?" So Mary says, "I didn't cross the line. You did. That apartment is ours, and we were about to get married soon. How dare you bring another girl there?" After this, we find out that they were in a relationship for 5 years, but Mary ends her relationship with him and throws coffee on his face and leaves. On the other side, we are shown our male lead, whose name is also Woo-ju. He is going somewhere on a flight and is sitting next to an old lady. Then, the old lady's son comes and requests Woo-ju to exchange seats because he needs to take care of his mom, but Woo-ju refuses. Actually, through a flashback, we come to know that Woo-ju overheard the conversation of the old lady's son, who was telling someone on call that during the flight, he would get his mom to sign the property papers. In the present, Woo-ju gives the old lady advice to keep her property with herself until death and not trust her son. After that, it is shown that Woo-ju has come here to spend holidays after 3 whole years, and he is talking to his grandma on the call. His grandma is the owner of the franchise of Red Bakery restaurant, and they have a huge business, meaning they are very rich. His grandma tells him to take care of himself and also asks him to return soon and join work. After that, we are shown Woo-ju enjoying his holidays very well, like cycling, fishing, reading books, camping, and who knows what else. And like this, 1 whole month passes. A month later, we are shown Mary and her husband coming out of the court because the court confirms that they both can get divorced. Mary tells him this news should not reach her mom yet, that her daughter became divorced before even fully getting married, so you won't tell her anything. He says okay. Then, she says, "I will empty that apartment too." Right then, her ex gets a call from that girl Jenny, and he gets busy talking to her. Seeing this, Mary shows him the middle finger and leaves, and goes to play baseball in anger, and starts explaining to herself that she can't break like this. But when memories of her ex come to her mind, she sits there and begins crying. The next morning, we are shown that Woo-ju's grandma has launched a new product of her bakery company, and she is giving interviews about it. At the same time, early morning police suddenly arrive at Mary's house. Taking her to the police station, they tell Mary that she has been scammed in a rental fraud. The police officer says the person from whom you took that apartment is a fraud, and he cheated you. He is not the owner of that building, but he still sold you that apartment with fake papers. Hearing this, Mary gets very shocked and asks, "Will I get my money back for the apartment?" The officer says the chances are very low. Hearing this, Mary becomes even more worried because she had put all her savings into that apartment. On top of that, the officer says, "You will have to vacate that house soon." Now she doesn't understand what to do, So she comes outside the police station and calls her ex and tells him everything and asks for help. But he clearly says, "I have nothing to do with you. Don't call me again and bother me." Saying this, he cuts the call and doesn't pick up again. Because of this, Mary, stressed out, goes drinking. And after getting very drunk, she keeps calling her ex while walking on the road. Right then, our male lead Woo-ju is passing through there. And by mistake, his car hits Mary. Seeing this, he quickly gets out and picks Mary up and asks, "Are you okay?" She says, "Yes, I am fine." But even then, he saves his number in her phone and tells her, "If you ever need anything in the future, call me." But as soon as Mary sees his name in her phone, she gets shocked. And then she starts seeing her ex in Woo-ju as well and pulls him towards her because she wasn't in her senses. She starts saying, "Why did you leave me? And why aren't you picking up my calls?" Hearing this, Woo-ju doesn't understand what this girl is saying. When he somehow tries to leave and sits in his car, Mary also sits in the car and isn't letting him go. Then, Woo-ju somehow manages to get Mary out of the car because she wasn't leaving. But now, Mary climbs onto his back and covers his eyes so that Woo-ju cannot run away. Woo-ju gets irritated by her, and when he finally gets her off, she mistakenly sits on a cactus. But she doesn't realize it. Instead, she is sad thinking how she will tell her mom that she became divorced before marriage, and now even her money is gone. Then, Woo-ju reminds her that she is sitting on a cactus and asks, "Are you okay?" Now, who can be okay after sitting on a cactus? Anyway, at least Mary realizes it and starts crying in pain. And poor Woo-ju helps her get up and then takes her to the hospital too. He takes her there where the doctor removes 17 thorns from her back. By the way, this doctor is Woo-ju's friend, and her name is Yoon-ji. After Yoon-ji finishes her work, she asks Woo-ju, "By the way, you've been here for 1 month, but didn't come to meet me even once. May I ask why?" Then Woo-ju asks her, "Who told you that I've been here for 1 month?" Then Yoon-ji says, "Did you forget that my dad is your grandma's doctor? So I found out from him only. Now that you have met me today, you'll have to treat me to a coffee." Suddenly, Woo-ju's eyes go toward Mary, who was going outside the hospital. So he leaves Yoon-ji and quickly comes to Mary and is taking her along with him to drop her at home. But Mary can't sit on the seat, so she sits facing backward. And at the same time, she apologizes to Woo-ju and tells him that her ex-husband's name is also Woo-ju. That's why, in a drunken state, she mistook him for him. And whatever she did with him, please forgive her. So Woo-ju also accepts her apology. But after sitting backward for a long time, Mary starts feeling a little unwell, meaning she wasn't feeling good. So she asks him to stop the car at the side and comes outside to take fresh air. And after seeing the sunrise, she says, "Maybe nature is giving me some sign." Suddenly, her stomach also growls. So Woo-ju says, seeing this, "Nature wants to tell you that you should eat something." Saying this, he starts joking with her. Anyway, after that, he drops her home and leaves, and she comes home and finally starts resting. On the other hand, we are shown the scene of the beauty department store's event. Actually, a few days ago, these people had kept a giveaway in which many newly married couples had filled the lucky coupons. And today, these people are going to announce the winner of that giveaway, and whoever the winner will get an apartment as a gift. Meanwhile, on the other side, we are shown the CEO of the beauty department store, whose name is Lee Seong, and he had already decided to make the mayor's nephew win this contest. So he tells his secretary to make a coupon with the mayor's nephew's name and folds it and hides it inside his coat sleeves. After that, he comes to the event, and as soon as he starts taking out the lucky coupon, mistakenly, the coupon with the mayor's nephew's name falls there itself and gets mixed with the rest of the coupons. So he picks out some other coupon. On the other side, it is shown that when Mary is sleeping, she gets a call from that contest, and the manager tells her that she has become the winner of that contest, so an apartment is being given to her as a gift. Hearing this, Mary becomes extremely happy. But then, the manager says that there are some conditions too, like the winner should be newly married, and also, she should have a fixed income. And yes, she should not have her own house. Now, Mary passes 2 criteria, but she gets stuck in the newly married criteria. Then, she remembers that she hasn't applied for divorce yet, meaning she is still married. After that, she tells the manager yes, that she fits all 3 criteria. But the assistant of the CEO of the beauty department, named Hyun Seok, tries to defeat Mary by any means, like he starts finding such flaws so that the apartment doesn't go into Mary's hands. But the manager tells him that the girl fits all the criteria. But yes, she said that her husband is currently abroad, so she will come alone to receive the prize. Hearing this, the assistant finds a good chance to defeat Mary, so he tells the manager to call Mary and tell her that she must bring her husband along. Otherwise, she won't get the apartment and the prize will be canceled. Now, when the manager tells this to Mary, she helplessly calls her ex, but he has already blocked Mary's number. Then, she messages him, "Please, I need your help. I have won a giveaway, so call me quickly." Just then, she gets a message from Woo-ju, and he asks her, "Did you go to the hospital and get yourself checked?" Then, her mind lights up and she calls him to meet her. The next day, at a cafe, Wooju comes to meet her and asks, "Did you see the doctor?" So she says, "No, I was a little busy," and then she asks him, "Are you married?" But at first, he gets shocked hearing this. Then he says, "No. But why?" Then she gathers a lot of courage and directly asks him, "Will you be my husband?" Hearing this, he gets completely shocked. Now, seeing him shocked, Mary clarifies that you don't need to become a real husband. You just have to act as a husband for one day. Hearing this, he starts leaving. So Mary stops him and tries to convince him that, "Look, my story is quite long, so I cannot tell you right now, but this is an emergency situation for me." Then, he agrees to listen to her once. Then, Mary tells him that you just have to come to the beauty department store at 3 p.m. on Saturday. Now, hearing Mary, he feels that she has gone crazy and is trapping him in some scam. So, he says to her, "What trick are you playing? Do you think I'm stupid?" And then, he straightaway rejects her proposal and leaves. Then, the scene shifts, and it is shown that Wooju's grandma announces, meaning tells her family members, that from now on, Wooju will become the owner of their 80-year-old empire. So Wooju's aunt gets irritated and starts arguing with grandma because she wants her son to become the heir. But grandma tells her that first, "I had given your son the chance, but look what he did. He failed 3 projects. That's why now this chance will go to Wooju." Meanwhile, Wooju's uncle stands quietly, as if nothing matters to him. Anyway then, Aunt comes to her useless son, who is Wooju's cousin named Jong-soo. But seeing him, it seems he also doesn't have any tension. He is just happy in his own world. So, now his mom starts beating him. So he says, "Oh mom, wait, you don't know I have planned something." Meanwhile, it is shown that Wooju goes to meet Yoonji, and both of them are talking while walking. Just then, a little girl runs past them, but going ahead, she falls and sits crying. Then, her mom comes there and comforts her, and seeing this, Wooju goes to give her the bag. On her bag, seeing a stuffed toy, he remembers a memory from his childhood. Actually, when he was badly injured, an unknown little girl had come to him and given him the same kind of stuffed toy, and that moment became special for him, and he still remembers it. Anyway, he gives that little girl her bag, and she leaves with her mom. Then, the next day, it is shown that Wooju officially starts his new job as the team leader of the company, and his uncle welcomes him properly. A little while later, a meeting starts in which they are discussing the sales and packaging of the new product they had launched. Then, Wooju's cousin Jong-soo says that the copyright of the packaging design of sweets that they were using has expired, and saying this, he taunts Wooju that you are now the new team leader. You should have been prepared before coming to the meeting. Basically, he tries to show that he is more capable than Wooju. Anyway, Wooju apologizes to everyone and says, "I will quickly contact the designer and get the copyright renewed." Later, it is shown that those designs belong to Mary's company, and when Wooju's team contacts Mary's employee Song-woo while talking about copyright, Song-woo says, "We will give our copyright when you give us 5 million won." It feels like she is collecting protection money. Anyway, hearing this shocks everyone because she was asking 10 times more than the original price. Actually, 2 hours earlier, Mary got a call from Wooju's cousin Jang-soo, who told her that she would later receive a call from the Myeong-soo-dang company regarding packaging copyright, and she should directly demand 10 times the price from them. And if they don't give it, then file a case on Wooju. Mary asks, "Who are you?" And he hangs up. That's why Mary did the same and asked for 10 times more money in exchange for giving them the copyright. Now, when Wooju finds out about this, he tells his employee to contact some other company, but his employee says that they have already invested money in the production of the packaging. So, they can't change the packaging. Then, Wooju says, "Call the owner of that design company. I will negotiate with him myself." Then, Mary is shown who goes to meet her ex's family so she can ask her ex for help because he had blocked Mary. But her ex's mom and sister start insulting Mary, saying, "You trapped my son and now you're after his money and who knows what else." Mary tries to tell them she needs help with something other than money. But after seeing their attitude, she also gets angry and gives them a fitting reply and leaves from there. And outside, she starts crying because she doesn't understand from whom she should ask for help now. Just then, her employee calls and tells her that the team leader of the Myeong-soo-dang company wants to meet her. So, now Mary comes to the company to meet him. Wooju is about to go meet her when suddenly his cousin stops him and starts teasing him, and also places a challenge that if he gets the copyright contract signed from design at the same price, then he will accept Wooju's talent, and if he can't, then he will have to resign from his position. So Wooju also accepts his challenge, but when he finds out that the packaging director is none other than Mary herself, the poor guy gets shocked. Mary also gets shocked seeing him. The awkwardness between them increases even more, and the tension between them feels like it's floating in the air. Anyway, Woo-ju still starts talking about work and begins negotiating regarding the copyright price. Mary agrees to all his conditions, so Woo-ju wonders how she agreed so quickly. But then, Mary sends Woo-ju's employee out and talks to Woo-ju alone, saying, "Look, I am ready to agree to all your conditions. Just become my fake husband for 1 day. If you don't agree, I will face a loss. But you will also face a loss. If you agree, both of us will benefit." After that, both of them reach the department store's award ceremony as husband and wife. There, the manager starts asking them many questions to make sure they are not pretending. But Mary had already made Woo-ju memorize everything: what the home address is, when they registered their marriage, their birthday, anniversary date, everything. The manager even checks their IDs. Only then does his doubt go away. But during this, Mary and Woo-ju learn that their photo will be published in the media as the winners of the prize. To avoid this, Woo-ju immediately pretends to receive a fake phone call, acting like he has a sore throat since coming from abroad. He says hospital tests showed he has some illness, so he has to wear a mask. The manager hears all this and gets scared that he might also catch something. Later, when media people start photographing them, the CEO stands in between, and both Woo-ju and Mary hide their faces as much as possible so no one recognizes them, and they successfully pose as a perfect couple in front of the media. After the ceremony, managing director Hyun-seok takes them to the luxury house they won. The location is quite good, and Mary really likes the house. Then, Hyun-seok tells them that they cannot sell this house for 90 days, meaning 3 months, because Mary wanted to sell this house and live somewhere else since she was basically committing a kind of fraud. Then, he further explains that for 3 months, the house will remain the company's property. All this was written in the contract which Mary didn't read. Hearing this shocks Mary, and she asks, "If the house belongs to the company for 3 months, then why did you give me the keys and allow me to stay here?" He says, "You are the winner, so it is your right to stay here." And he also tells them that 5 years ago, they had a similar contest in England, and the couple who won the house there divorced after a few days, and their event became a huge joke. So since then, they added this clause that the winning couple must live together for 3 months. And yes, if they divorce during this period, the apartment will be taken back from them. He also adds, "I forgot to tell you another thing. I live right next to you. I am your new neighbor, so I will often come to meet you." Hearing this shocks both Woo-ju and Mary. Anyway, Hyun-seok leaves after telling everything, but later, Woo-ju gets worried. Seeing him, Mary says, "Forgive me. I will try my best not to trouble you." He angrily says, "Articles with our photos have been published. How can I not be worried? If our lie gets caught, I will also get trapped. So, cancel the idea of staying here." Mary then asks, "Where will I go?" He angrily replies, "Go anywhere," and leaves. But outside, he realizes he was wrong to shout at Mary, so he calls her to apologize. But the situation worsens when Woo-ju encounters his aunt and cousin there. Woo-ju makes an excuse that he just came to meet a friend. Suddenly, Hyun-seok also appears and asks, "Where is your wife?" Hearing wife shocks the aunt and cousin. As if that wasn't enough, Mary also arrives from the front because Woo-ju had called her but cut the call midway, so she came to ask what he was saying. But Woo-ju panics. How will he handle all 4 of them? Then he gestures Mary and asks her to leave. But first, she thinks he is saying hi, but then she understands the situation and quickly leaves from there, but her phone falls down. Then, Woo-ju takes Hyun-seok with him. Just then, Mary's mom calls on her phone. Mary goes to pick it up, but before she can, the aunt comes and picks it up and sees Mary entering a doghouse. So she goes to give her the phone and asks, "What are you doing in this doghouse?" Mary starts acting crazy, which scares the aunt, and Mary takes her phone, hides her face, and quickly runs away. That night, Woo-ju tells Mary that the people he was with were his relatives. That's why he is saying she should find another place. Otherwise, they will run into more acquaintances, and they will have to tell even more lies. And don't forget, Hyun-seok will keep an eye on them 24 hours. Mary says, "Don't worry, I won't." She says, "I will stay." Then, Woo-ju asks, "Did you find any other place to live?" She says that she is still searching, but tells him not to worry. She will solve all these problems soon. Next day, we are shown that for Woo-ju's grandma's checkup, Yoonji and her dad come to their house. And while talking, the topic of Yoonji's marriage comes up. Her dad says that she still likes Woo-ju. Grandma says, "You should have told me earlier. I will be very happy when Yoonji becomes the daughter-in-law of my house." But they don't know that their grandson is secretly trapped in a fake marriage. Then, in the office, Woo-ju's cousin is avoiding him because he lost the bet. But still, Woo-ju sees him, and both go aside to talk alone. Jang-soo says, "Tell me, what do you want?" Woo-ju replies, "Just don't interfere in my work from now on." Then, he asks, "Do you know the CEO of designer company? How did she accept all your conditions and sign the contract so easily?" Woo-ju says, "No, I met her for the first time, and how she agreed so easily. Go ask her yourself." Saying this, he leaves. Meanwhile, one employee comes to meet Woo-ju's uncle and says, "The company we started working with, I checked and found out that they are doing fraud. He also shows their financial statements. The uncle says, don't tell anyone about this yet. I will personally find more information about this company. Then we are shown Mary, who calls her only friend and asks, can I come and stay at your place? But her friend says she has joined the army. Mary asks, when did this happen? And why didn't you tell me? She replies, I joined last month. I didn't tell you because if I failed, it would have been embarrassing. After the call, Mary sees an advertisement of a mall which says no deposit and that people can stay there for a long time. Mary finds this a profitable deal and goes there to live, but that place is weird and creepy. Still, she had no option. Her room is on the 5th floor, and when she enters, the room is extremely dirty. She somehow places her stuff and rests. Next day, when Mary goes to meet her client, she meets Yoonji there. After asking about her health, Yoonji asks her, why did you ask Woo-ju to become your husband? Hearing this, Mary feels angry inside, thinking why that fool told her everything. Mary makes an excuse and says she was joking with Woo-ju at that time. Yoonji finds it strange, but Mary ends the conversation. After that, Mary comes to Woo-ju's company to present the new packaging designs. After the meeting, in the evening, Woo-ju's team invites Mary for dinner. There's an employee named Seo Chen who has a crush on Woo-ju, so she asks him, do you have a girlfriend? He says no. While talking, they reach the topic of the beauty department contest winners, and they try checking online who won the contest. Seeing this, Woo-ju and Mary keep stopping them by making excuses, sometimes by offering drinks, sometimes food, trying their best so they don't find out that the two of them were the winners who faked a marriage. Because of this, Mary becomes very drunk. One employee tells Mary, you're paying for dinner, right? Our team leader is new, so you should show some appreciation. Hearing this sobers her up instantly. When she goes to pay, she realizes she doesn't have enough money. Just then, Woo-ju comes and pays for the entire dinner. After that, everyone plans to go karaoke, and they try to take Mary with them because they wanted her to pay the bill. But Woo-ju stops them and says, Mary is too drunk. I will drop her home. He takes her along. Later, after waking her up properly, he asks where she lives. Mary somehow tells him her address. He brings her to the motel and takes her to her room, but she realizes that she has lost her room card. Woo-ju gets worried. Mary says, don't worry, I'll bring it. But seeing her stumbling, Woo-ju stops her, calls the motel owner, and gets the spare key to open her room. Then he takes Mary inside and lets her sleep. But he sees the mall owner looking at Mary with strange intentions. So Woo-ju kicks him out and covers Mary with a blanket before leaving. When he goes to open his car, he realizes the key probably fell inside Mary's room. He calls her, but hears her screaming. He panics and runs back to the room and sees the owner touching Mary's feet. He punches him hard, making his nose bleed. Mary sees this and apologizes to the owner, asking Woo-ju, why did you hit him? Woo-ju says, he was touching you. Mary clears the misunderstanding. She says she was hungry and making cup noodles. Hot water fell on her foot and burned her. So the owner brought a first aid kit and was applying medicine on her foot. Now Woo-ju realizes his mistake and apologizes, but the owner kicks Mary out of the motel. Seeing Mary in great pain, Woo-ju first applies medicine to her wounds and then takes her to the house they had won. He then tells Mary not to let Hyun-seok know you're here. Stay here for now, but keep the lights off and avoid his sight. Then he leaves. Then at night, Mary has to do all her work in the dark, and when she goes to sleep, mosquitoes start buzzing. She claps to ward off the mosquitoes, and suddenly the lights come on. Frightened, she quickly goes to turn off the lights, but the lights in all the rooms turn on because she didn't know which button was for which room. So the lights start flickering on and off, and Hyun-seok arrives at his house at the same time. Seeing the lights flickering on and off in Mary's house, he comes to her house, and Mary has to seek his help. Hyun-seok explains to her that the lighting system in her house is sound sensitive. She can control the lights by clapping. But meanwhile, he suspects something's not right at home because he doesn't see any sign of Woo-ju. All of Mary's belongings are scattered around. When he asks Mary about this, she lies, saying, my husband's stuff is upstairs. We've just moved in, so we're not unpacking his stuff yet. We'll do it this week. Hearing this, he reminds her that the boss will be coming next week to see how the new couple is doing, so be ready. With that, he leaves. Mary immediately calls Woo-ju and tells him everything, and they decide they should take real wedding photos to make their fake married couple story seem more real. So the next day, Woo-ju and Mary arrive for their wedding photo shoot. But when Woo-ju sees her in a bridal dress, he can't take his eyes off her for a moment. He controls his emotions and tells Mary to start. Woo-ju sits down, but Mary explains that her dress is too tight, so she can't sit down, and she's having trouble breathing. Hearing this, he lowers the zip of her dress a little so she can breathe, then pulls her closer, making her sit down, and says, if you're going to be restless, let's do it properly. For a moment, both of them feel awkward. Then they focus on their work, getting their photos taken. He's enjoying it, but Mary says these photos will be enough. So he quickly gets up and goes outside. Outside, he sees Seo-chun, who had come with her friends. Seeing her, Woo-ju panics and quickly goes back inside. Seo-chun thinks she might have seen team leader Woo-ju, so she follows him there, and Woo-ju tells Mary that Seo-chun is outside. Hearing this, she is shocked. Seeing Seo-chun coming towards them, Woo-ju doesn't know where to hide, so he says sorry to Mary and kisses her. When he steps back, Mary sees that Seo-chun has entered the room. To hide her face, she pulls Woo-ju back and kisses him. To show that they're just a romantic couple, both of their cheeks turn red. Now, Seo-chun's seeing Mary and Woo-ju kissing, but she doesn't doubt them, thinking they're a newlywed couple. So she says sorry to them and leaves. But now they are both quite awkward and check to see if she has left. And seeing the path clear, they also leave. The next day, they prepare to put up their wedding photos in their house. But Mary reveals that the hammer isn't at home. So they both go to their neighbor, Hyun-seo, to borrow a toolbox. They also act like a sweet, loving couple. They try to keep him from suspecting them. And even when they're both going home, Hyun-seok's eyes are still fixed on them. The next day, Seo-chun is seen at the company, only looking at Woo-ju because she suspects he was the one in the groom's outfit at the photo shoot yesterday. When she tells everyone this, Mary is shocked and tries to cover it up, saying she must have seen something wrong. An employee suggests calling the location and getting details about the two people who came for the wedding photo shoot. Hearing this, Mary starts making excuses to stop Seo-chun, but by then, she had already called the studio. Just then, Woo-ju enters to start the meeting and Seo-chun leaves while still on the call. Then, after the meeting, Woo-ju tells Mary privately that he had registered fake names for both of them at the photo shoot location. Only then does Mary regain her composure. During their conversation, the topic of kisses comes up. Woo-ju says, "You took advantage of me by pretending to be at a photo shoot, and you got what you wanted. You pounced on me so suddenly that you didn't even give me a chance to think." Hearing this, Mary begins to explain, "I was afraid Seo-chun might see us. And that kiss you gave me earlier. I never wanted to take things that far." Woo-ju replies, "I was just standing in a kissing position, but you just jumped on me like a vine." Hearing the call, Mary loses her mind and tells him, "Just understand, I was just trying to hide from Seo-chun." The conversation gets quite awkward, so Woo-ju ends the conversation, telling Mary that the chairwoman really liked your design and wants to meet you. The scene shifts from here, and it's shown that when Mary tells her employee this, she reveals that the company's chairwoman is the daughter-in-law of the company's founder. Her mother-in-law used to run a small STEM dub shop in a local market, and today, the chairwoman transformed her business into the company called Myeong Sudong, which we all know today. So don't underestimate the chairwoman. Here, Woo-ju's uncle tells Grandma that one of their employees named Mr. Ko is dead in a road accident, and also reveals that he was committing fraud in the company and stole a large sum of money, a significant amount. If a police complaint is filed, the matter will reach the media. Therefore, we should remain silent. Grandma is shocked to hear this, but she believes Woo-ju's uncle and decides it's best to remain silent. Actually, Uncle cleverly blames Mr. Ko for his fraud, as Mr. Ko is now dead, so no one will suspect him. Well, during dinner, when the topic of Mr. Ko's accident comes up, Auntie says, "Imagine if his family were with him, everyone would have died." Hearing this, Woo-ju remembers his parents' accident. He makes an excuse and leaves. But later, Grandma scolds Auntie, asking, "Can't you keep your mouth shut?" Here, Woo-ju goes to his room and looks at the teddy bear a girl gave him as a child. He still keeps this teddy bear, as it's a comfort toy. Then, a flashback shows Woo-ju's parents having a terrible accident. Woo-ju, crying, gets out of the car and walks a short distance to seek help. There, he meets Mary and her father. The scene shifts to show Mary's father calling the police and an ambulance. The ambulance takes away Woo-ju's mom and dad's bodies, and Mary is displeased to see Woo-ju crying. Later, when Woo-ju is sitting at the police station, Mary gives him her teddy bear and tells him that her dad gave it to her as a birthday gift. As soon as she presses the teddy bear, a voice comes to tell her to stop crying or a lion will come and take her away. Just then, Woo-ju's grandmother arrives and Woo-ju runs to her crying. When he looks back, the teddy bear is still there, but Mary is gone. Later, as he's leaving the police station, he sees Mary crying. It's actually Mary who was crying for him. She asks her dad, "Are both her mom and dad dead? Who will take care of her?" Her dad tries to calm her down, and from then on, Woo-ju begins to like Mary. Meanwhile, Mary just remembers about the kiss with Woo-ju. She tries to convince herself it was all just an act, but this causes her sleepless nights. The next day, Yoon-ji calls Woo-ju and asks him to meet her in the evening, because she wants to propose to him. Woo-ju says, "Okay, I'll come." Meanwhile, Woo-ju and Mary are busy decorating their house today. They buy all the couple's items and decorate them, wearing matching clothes so that the company's CEO doesn't even suspect they're a fake couple. Lee Seong was supposed to visit them that day with Hyun Seok. Mary had done all the preparations. Woo Ju is simply delighted with his wedding photo, admiring how handsome he looks in it. Mary had also prepared a bunch of questions. She gives them to Woo Ju to remember, so that if the CEO Lee Seong asks anything, he can quickly answer them. Seeing the questions, Woo Ju asks, "Were you going to London for your honeymoon?" She says, "Yes." Meanwhile, Woo Ju learns that Mary has spent a lot of money on her ex. For example, Mary saved the money for the honeymoon. She also paid for the apartment. Mary explains, "I paid his tuition twice, arranged for his insurance, and paid for his classes. But first of all, I was the breadwinner out of the two of us." Woo Ju asks her, "Did he ever thank you?" She says, "Probably not." Then Woo Ju asks, "How did you two meet?" Mary explains, "He once saved me from drowning when I was out with my friends, and that's when I fell in love with him." But now Mary regrets why she even liked him. Hearing all this, Woo Ju says, "One day you'll meet someone who won't take your love for granted." Mary doesn't know if that day will come, but she feels good about it. Meanwhile, Mary's ex, Woo Ju, sees a message on his girlfriend's phone in which someone sent her the room number. Seeing this, he begins to suspect his girlfriend of cheating on him, but he doesn't say anything to her right now. On the other side, Hyun Suk tells Mary and Woo Ju that the CEO can't come to her house today because there's an emergency. Later, upon arriving at the police station, it's revealed that the CEO had beaten up a man. Therefore, he has come to file a police complaint against the CEO. However, Hyun Suk offers the man a lot of money to silence him, deletes the CCTV footage, and the CEO makes a pretense of being hospitalized for a few days so that people think he's the victim. But the CEO always treats Hyun Suk as if he's not just his assistant but his pet dog. However, when Yoonji comes to check up on the CEO, she also doesn't like the CEO's behavior. Meanwhile, the CEO isn't going to meet Mary and Woo Ju. So Woo Ju sits down to look at Mary's new packaging designs. Mary gets a little too friendly with him, but Woo Ju is also impressed. Just then, Yoonji calls him and asks, "Where are you?" Then Woo Ju remembers that he had to go meet his friend. He apologizes, "I forgot," and says, "I'm coming right away." Yoonji says, "It's okay. I'm a little busy too. We'll see you some other day." Then Yoonji is quite sad, so she comes over for a drink. Hyun Suk also comes and sits with her. Yoonji tries to talk to him, saying, "Earning is really tough. You know the person you work for. There are a lot of rumors about him being a total jerk, but you handled him well." But Hyun Suk asks, "Do I know you?" She says, "Hey, we just met this evening when that Lee Seong was scolding you." But seeing Hyun Seok not responding, she too falls silent. Then she says, "If you're upset, you should open up a little so people can feel comfortable. If you weren't upset, why would you be drinking like me? And that too, sitting here alone." Hearing this, Hyun Seok hands her his glass of drink. She asks, "Are you flirting with me?" He says, "Drink this and leave so I can drink in peace." Hearing this, she finally shuts up. The next day, Mary's mom comes to Seoul with food and other items to meet Mary's ex-in-law, who hadn't yet told her they had broken up. Then we are shown Mary, who is currently in a meeting. Just then, her mom texts her, "I've come to Seoul and am going to meet your in-law." Seeing this, Mary becomes upset and comes out to call her mom. But mom's phone is on silent. Woo Ju comes out and Mary tells him everything. Woo Ju says, "Don't worry, go inside and give the presentation. I'll pick up your mom." Mary's mom meets her ex-in-law and acts very nicely. She even offers him food, but both of them leave no stone unturned in insulting Mary's mom and leave. Woo Ju sees everything and helps Mary's mom, telling her that Mary sent him. "She works for our company and asked me to drop you off at the bus station." Mary's mom then asks her about Mary. How is her work? How is she performing? Was she? Woo Ju praises Mary, saying, "Your daughter is truly talented and her work is excellent. She was busy with a presentation, so I came to pick you up." Mary's mom then tells her that her daughter has been excellent at her work since childhood. She even received numerous awards for her drawing. After her father died, she had to support herself and live away from home. She's been very hardworking from the start. Then, her mom starts recounting stories from Mary's childhood, which makes Woo Ju smile. Later, Woo Ju drops them off at the bus station and Mary calls her mom, telling her, "Don't go visit them without telling me in the future." She says, "Don't worry, I'll tell you first, then I'll come." And anyway, I didn't see them at home. Later, when Woo Ju gives the tickets to Mary's mom, she tells him, "Please don't tell Mary anything about what happened today." He says, "Okay." Here, as Mary is heading home, her ex's sister calls her and tells her, "Your mom created such a scene here that my mom's health deteriorated, and then we insulted her so much that she'll never come back." Hearing this, Mary starts crying and comes home, sitting in a sad state. Then, Woo Ju comes, who brought Mary's mom food, sees Mary crying, and asks, "What happened?" Mary tells him, "I know everything. How did they insult my mom? That's why I wasn't telling my mom about our breakup. If I had been there with them, they wouldn't have been able to insult her like that." Then, Woo Ju comforts her, saying, "I think you should talk to your mom. she's ready to hear your side of the story. Following Wooju's advice, Mary tells her mom everything about her breakup, including how she won a house in a contest and what she's doing to get it. Mary fears her mom will be angry, but she fully supports her, saying she's doing everything she can to win the house. Mary's mom has no problem with it. In fact, she insists, "I want you to get through those 3 months somehow, so the house is yours. You're my daughter. Only you can do it, and your ex can do whatever he wants. You'll find better men than him. The one who left you is the one who loses." After talking to her mom, Mary feels relieved, as she never imagined her mom was so cool. Meanwhile, Mary's mother tears up her ex's photo and throws it in the dustbin, rejoicing that this thorn has been removed from her daughter's life. Then, Mary's ex is shown stalking his girlfriend and discovers she's cheating on him. It's called karma comes back, because he had cheated on Mary, and today, his girlfriend cheated on him. Mary's mother calls her daughter and tells her that her purse might have been left in her team leader's car. When Mary calls Wooju and tells him this, he searches his car and finds the purse. Inside the purse, he finds a childhood photo of Mary, the girl he's been searching for so many years. Then, in a flashback, we are shown that when Wooju drops Mary off at her motel room, he finds her belongings scattered and starts tidying them up. Then, he finds Mary's family photo and is shocked to see it as a childhood photo of Mary holding a teddy bear. Later, he is overjoyed that he has finally found his first love. When Mary asked Wooju for help, it was Wooju's idea to have a wedding photo shoot to make the fake marriage seem more real. So, Wooju has been unhesitatingly supporting Mary ever since. But the twist in the story comes now, as Mary's ex returns to Seoul and calls her, asking, "How are you? I'm back and in Seoul." But upon hearing this, Mary quickly hangs up and blocks his number. Shortly after, Wooju calls her and says that her mother's purse has been found. Mary says she'll come to the office the next day to collect it because she has a meeting there. However, she hides from Wooju that it was her ex calling because she doesn't want Wooju to be upset. The next morning, as Mary sneaks from Hyun-seok's office to her office, he sees her and asks, "Where's your husband?" Mary unhesitatingly lies, saying he was working all night. So, Hyun-seok leaves. But perhaps fate does not want to favor Mary because Hyun-seok arrives at Wooju's company for a business meeting. When Wooju learns of this, he is utterly shocked. He makes an excuse to go to the bathroom and calls his uncle saying, "I can't make it to the meeting because I'm in the bathroom and it might take a while." But no matter how hard he tries, he and Hyun-seok finally run into each other, and in front of his uncle, they both cleverly pretend as if they don't recognize each other. Then, as they get into the elevator, Wooju explains to Hyun-seok, "I pretended not to recognize you, so you wouldn't feel uncomfortable." Hyun-seok also believes Wooju and Mary have kept their marriage a secret, so he doesn't suspect Wooju. But when he looks Wooju up and down, he says, "You don't look like someone who works all night." Just then, the elevator opens and Mary appears. Upon seeing Hyun-seok, Mary manages the situation by starting her couple act, explaining that she came to collect her purse from Wooju. In the course of conversation, she hints to Wooju that he had stayed overnight and worked at the company. She also begins to pretend to love Wooju, such as holding hands and laughing, and making small gestures that make them look like a perfect couple. Seeing them like this, Hyun-seok dispels all doubts and leaves. Now, to avoid this type of situation, Wooju tells Mary that from now on, she will call him 3 or 4 times a day to tell him what she did and who she met so that their lie is not discovered. Mary thinks this is nothing to brag about, but he somehow manages to convince her. Here, Yoonji is in the hospital, and Lee Seong is bossing everyone around. Yoonji says he can go home before the week is up. Lee Seong requests her to let him stay until the end of the month. Yoonji also says, "This isn't a hotel." She declares, "I'll have him discharged by the end of the week," and leaves. Then, Lee Seong orders Hyun-seok to leave her and talk to the hospital director. Then, that evening, Wooju's grandmother sends Wooju and Yoonji out to dinner together so they can get closer. During dinner, when Yoonji is about to muster up the courage to confess her feelings, Wooju tells her, "I've found my first love and she remembers me." Yoonji is distraught and asks, "Where did you find her? Did she recognize you?" Wooju replies, "No, she didn't. And that girl is none other than Mary." Yoonji, surprised, asks, "Cactus Girl?" Wooju replies, "Yes, she is." Yoonji is heartbroken. Then she asks, "Why didn't you try to find her sooner?" Wooju replies, "I did." In a flashback, we see Mary's father registering his phone number and address as a witness at the police station. So Wooju retrieves Mary's home address from the police station and comes to meet her. But then he overhears Mary and her mother talking. He learns that just 2 weeks after Wooju's parents' deaths, Mary's father also died in an accident while on his way to the police station regarding a car accident case. But no one knows that Mary's father had already given all the details to the police. So why was he going to the police station again? In the present, we see that he tells all this to Jo Yoon-ji, who fears that if he tells Mary the truth, she will think he caused her father's death. Therefore, he is reluctant to tell Mary anything at all. Here, Lee Seong sees that an article has featured Yoon Seok's photo instead of his own, so he starts saying, "You're just my pet dog, so don't try to take my place. Otherwise, I won't waste a minute taking away everything you've received thanks to me." Yoon Seok is furious, as the article writers mistakenly included Yoon Seok's photo, for which he apologized to Lee Seong. But Lee Seong seems intoxicated with his power. Heartbroken Yoon-ji quietly returns to the hospital, finds the piano, and begins playing it, as if trying to express her unfulfilled feelings through music. Meanwhile, when Hyun Seok leaves after hearing Lee Seong's words, he sees Yoon-ji playing the piano and stands there, wearily watching her. The next day reveals that it's a very difficult day for Woo-ju, as it's her parents' death anniversary and her birthday. And that's not enough. His aunt and cousin also indirectly imply that Woo-ju is responsible for his parents' death, and even his grandmother can't look him in the eye when he gets into the car. Every family member is busy convincing him that his parents died because of him, leaving the poor boy heartbroken. No one considers that he too has lost his parents. Then a flashback is shown that what happened just before the car accident. It was actually Woo-ju's birthday, but his cousin Jang-soo took his gift. Woo-ju insists that he wants his toy back. When his father turns back to explain, a truck comes from the front, causing an accident. Woo-ju has been blaming himself for his parents' death ever since. In another flashback, Woo-ju reveals that during Woo-ju's parents' funeral, Woo-ju accidentally tells his grandmother about this, and the entire family overhears it. Grandfather becomes so enraged that he sends his grandson abroad, never to be seen again. The memories of that day shatter Woo-ju, but then another flashback reveals the truth. The accident was a plot orchestrated by his uncle, Mr. Han. He orchestrated the deaths of his brother and sister-in-law, and Woo-ju, unaware of this, has been blaming himself for years. When Woo-ju returns home, he remembers how everyone blamed him. This triggers a panic attack. As he goes to get medicine, Mary texts him, wishing him a happy birthday. Suddenly, Woo-ju's panic attack gradually subsides. Then he asks her, "Will you take me out for dinner?" She replies, "Should I cook for you at home?" He replies, "Yes, I'm coming right away." Mary understands that he's feeling lonely. So, to surprise him, she bakes both a cake and a meal. When Woo-ju returns home and sees everything prepared, he is shocked and emotional. During the meal, he remembers the death of his parents for the first time. He openly tells someone that his parents died on his birthday because of his mistake. "That's why I just want to forget this day. I feel very awkward whenever someone wishes him a happy birthday." Meanwhile, Mary listens silently and feels very bad for Woo-ju. Then, seeing him sad, she tries to make him laugh. Then, they both eat together, and the atmosphere becomes strangely peaceful. After the meal, Mary looks out the window and sees a double rainbow in the sky. She quickly calls Woo-ju to show him, saying, "Look how beautiful rainbows are. Quickly, make a wish." He laughs and says, "Who wishes such a wish?" But then, at Mary's insistence, he makes a wish. Then, he asks her, "What wish did you wish for?" She tells him that she wants to earn a lot of money, that her mother's health remains good, and that this house belongs to her forever. Then she asks Woo-ju what he asked for. He doesn't say anything, and just smiles. Mary insists, "No, you have to tell me." Woo-ju says in his heart, "I have only one wish, that all your dreams come true." At that moment, a sweet atmosphere develops between them. They play and laugh on the terrace, while drops of water fall. But suddenly, Mary slips, and Woo-ju immediately catches her. They get so close that they're both breathless. Just as Woo-ju is about to kiss her, it's revealed that Mary's ex, Woo-ju, is standing below, watching them both with amazement. Actually, Mary's ex comes there dropping Jenny's cat off at her aunt's house. Just as Mary and Woo-ju are about to kiss, Mary spots her ex. She panics and quickly backs away, leaving Woo-ju with her, so he can't see them. After catching a glimpse from the balcony above, Mary's ex suspects it might be Mary, so he starts ringing the doorbell to confirm. When no one answers, he thinks he might be hallucinating, so he leaves. A little while later, Mary tells Woo-ju, "My ex called me that day and said he's back in Seoul. Did he find out?" He calmly tells her that if he had known, he wouldn't have left. "You should tell him the truth, and if necessary, we'll both include him in our team to save this house." Mary immediately refuses, saying, "It's better to get caught than to work with my ex." Woo-ju then explains to her that she should think practically, not emotionally. You still have to pay off your loan, and right now, you need this house the most. On the other hand, during a morning run, a girl on Yoonji's team suddenly collapses and starts having trouble breathing. Yoonji helps her and begins CPR until an ambulance arrives. But then two boys arrive and start taking videos and photos of her. The boy's friend denies it, saying it's wrong, but the first boy refuses. Just then, Hyun-suk arrives and sees this. He immediately drapes his jacket over Yoonji, removes it, and begins administering CPR to the girl himself. By then, an ambulance arrives and takes the girl to the hospital. Meanwhile, Hyun-suk beats the boy and deletes Yoonji's photos from his phone. Seeing no photos of any other girls on his phone, Hyun-seok realizes this is the boy's first time doing this, so he lets him go. Yoonji, who was coming to deliver his jacket, witnesses this from a distance and smiles at his maturity and kindness. At the company, Mary is giving a presentation on new packaging designs for their new product, and everyone appreciates Mary's ideas, and the entire team praises her creativity. Later, when Mary returns to her office, her ex is already waiting for her. Mary is surprised to see him but agrees to talk to him. Her ex, Woo-ju, brings Mary back to her memories. It seems like they were so happy when they were together. But Mary directly asks, "Where's your girlfriend?" He tells her, "I broke up with her because I couldn't live without her." But this time, Mary doesn't buy into his advances and doesn't pay any attention to him. Woo-ju still tries to get Mary to soften up for him, but she angrily says, "You've hurt me a lot and I don't love you anymore. So please go away." He thinks she's just too emotional, so he leaves. The next day, when the company delivers its new product, news breaks that the greeting cards included in their gift boxes were poems by a man who had recently gone viral or become famous. But suddenly, the scandalous news of his arrest spreads. Upon hearing this news, the marketing team panics and takes immediate action. They stop the delivery van and remove the cards from all the boxes. Meanwhile, Woo-ju encounters a dog that thinks he's stealing. It starts barking at him. Just as it's about to attack, Mary arrives and calms the dog down within minutes, giving it a piece of her snack, bringing Woo-ju back to life. However, with a little hard work and teamwork, the entire marketing team manages to handle the crisis, and surprisingly, sales are very successful. Then, when Woo-ju is dropping Mary off at work, her ex keeps calling her. Mary doesn't pick up the phone. Woo-ju tells her to pick up the phone and see what he has to say. Mary says he came to her office and tells Woo-ju the whole story, which makes Woo-ju feel a little jealous, but he doesn't show it. At home, Mary's ex Woo-ju learns from his sister that he and Mary's mom had a huge fight a few days ago while he was in Hong Kong. Hearing this, he's completely lost in his thoughts about what they did, and he thinks that maybe that's why Mary is so angry with him. So he quickly rushes out to try to convince her. Meanwhile, Woo-ju is with Mary at her office, and during their conversation, Mary says, "I'm never going to be with my ex again. I've thought about it a lot." Woo-ju replies, "Then I'll keep pretending to be your fake husband until the end. In reality, your ex has nothing to do with this. You participated in the contest. You won, and I'm just supporting you so you can get out of this mess." Hearing this, Mary becomes emotional, hugs him, and thanks him. She explains, "I was scared the whole time that you might refuse to help me because my ex came. I was really struggling, but I couldn't tell anyone." Woo-ju smiles at this. Mary backs off. Meanwhile, when Mary's ex comes to meet Mary at the office, he sees Mary leaving with Woo-ju and starts following them. He ends up at their house. However, the security guards stop him because he wasn't a resident. When Woo-ju drops Mary off and is about to leave, he sees Hyun-seok coming out of his house. He sneaks back with Mary and waits for Hyun-seok to leave. Then he sees a shower handle and helps Mary put it in the bathroom, but he accidentally turns on the shower, leaving him completely drenched. Later, he's drying his hair and Mary is drying his shirt. Meanwhile, he shyly asks Mary if she's free. "Let's go to lunch." Mary says, "Yes. Why not?" The cute awkwardness between them is adorable. Then, they show Mary's ex, whom the security guard asks, "Where do you want to go?" Woo-ju gives him Jenny's aunt's address, saying, "I'm visiting her." So, they let him in. Then, when Mary's ex arrives at their house, he sees Woo-ju leaving. Then, when Mary leaves to throw the trash, her ex Woo-ju appears and assumes Mary does housekeeping for the man who just left. Mary explains that this is her friend's house and she's living there for a few days, somehow managing. Now, Mary's ex begins to forcefully apologize to her and even tries to enter her house. Despite Mary's repeated refusals, the more she tries to evict him, the more he intrudes and starts arguing with her. Instead of apologizing for his mistakes, he starts blaming her, asking, "Did you blame me first? She was cheating on me. Tell me where you've been hiding your boyfriend." Hearing this, she's deeply hurt, but she's also afraid he might see her wedding photo, so she claps and turns off the lights. She tries to get the donkey out, but in the process, the donkey slips and falls so badly that when taken to the hospital, the doctor examines him and reveals a small crack in his arm bone. Hearing this, Mary begins to feel guilty. Woo-ju, taking advantage of his situation, pretends to be a helpless person in front of Mary, saying, "I got hurt because of you, so you have to take care of me. Sister are away for 3 days, and if you go too, who will take care of me?" Mary is upset, but for the sake of humanity, she agrees to take care of him. Meanwhile, Woo-ju's uncle's dark side is beginning to emerge. Mr. Ko's wife arrives at the company and meets with Woo-ju's grandmother, the current chairwoman, and gives her a document containing complete evidence of financial fraud. Woo-ju's grandmother is shocked to discover that a large sum of money has been stolen from the company. When Woo-ju's uncle learns of this, he calls a woman to conceal his fraud and tells her to delete all the records. It is then revealed that the woman is none other than his second wife, who lives in the US, and they have a child. Then, a short while later, Wooju brings coffee for his uncle, but he accidentally spills the fraudulent documents on his hand. When Wooju goes to clean them up, he discovers the suspicious document. However, he doesn't question his uncle, and the uncle quickly takes the documents and sends Wooju away. Meanwhile, Mary's ex, taking advantage of his condition, is having Mary serve him well and trying to remind her of the old days. But little does he know his words won't have any effect on Mary. Then we see Yoonji, who comes to return Hyunsuk's jacket to him and gives him her favorite snack as a thank you. He says, "That wasn't necessary. If anyone else were in my place, they would have helped you just like that." With that, he walks away. But Yoonji can't understand why his heart is pounding. Meanwhile, Wooju is waiting for Mary at a restaurant. When she doesn't arrive, he calls her and asks where she is. Mary explains, "I can't come for lunch because I'm in the hospital taking care of my friend." So, Wooju plans to meet Yoonji and comes to the hospital to meet him. He's surprised to see Mary and his ex together. Mary is also shocked to see Wooju there, while her ex tries to pretend that Mary is his. Mary doesn't like him touching her at all. Seeing this, Wooju wisely pushes her ex away from Mary and forcibly escorts her to her room so he doesn't disturb her further. Later, Mary tells Wooju the truth about how Wooju fell and cracked his hand. Wooju scolds him, asking why he didn't call her. Mary says, "I didn't want to disturb you," and surprised asks, "Why are you so angry?" Then, Wooju hesitates and says, "It's because I don't like it when other guys are so close to you. Maybe I like you." Hearing this, Mary stares at him in shock, and there's an awkwardness between them. Mary freezes in shock and asks Wooju, "Why do you like me? What's so special about me?" In fact, she herself doesn't know whether to be happy or scared by this confession. The situation, which is otherwise quite emotional, turns into comedy when Mary hesitantly asks Wooju if he has any savings. How much is it? He must have a bank account, right? Actually, she's wondering if she's falling for the wrong guy. Wooju is a little offended by this because he doesn't know that Mary's words aren't stemming from suspicion, but from insecurity and anger. And Mary doesn't even know the person she's joking with. He's the sole heir to the Myeongsudang company, the person destined to become the owner of a huge company. The situation is getting quite awkward. Wooju says, "Pretend I didn't say anything, and you didn't hear anything." Mary replies, "How can I pretend I didn't hear anything?" Just then, Mary's ex sees her and approaches her, asking, "How could you leave me like that?" Wooju doesn't let him even wander around Mary and takes him straight to his bed and throws him on the bed. Just then, Mary has an urgent need. Seeing this, Wooju says, "You go. I'll take care of it." Mary says, "Oh no, it's my responsibility." But Wooju didn't want to leave Mary alone with her ex, so he agrees to take responsibility for his. Seeing this, her ex says, "How can you leave me with him like this? Who knows, he might do something to me after you leave." But Mary ignores him and walks away. He starts crying like a child, calling out, "Mary, Mary!" Then another patient yells at him, "This isn't your house. Shut up!" Only then does he quiet down, and he breathes a sigh of relief. Meanwhile, the company's situation worsens. The chairwoman discovers that someone is committing fraud within the company. So, the chairwoman orders her assistant to find the person who stole the company's money. Then, when Wooju's uncle arrives, he's horrified to see the document in the assistant's hand, which clearly reveals that he's hiding something. To distract the chairwoman from this matter, Wooju's uncle, Mr. Han, hatches a new plan. He arranges a meeting for them with the CEO of a major North Korean hotel chain. Mr. Han and the chairman have come to meet the CEO for this meeting. Meanwhile, Mary's ex is seen in the hospital. He's talking to Wooju about Mary and pretending that Mary's absence doesn't bother him at all. But Wooju's calm face clearly shows that he misses her deeply. The next day, as soon as Mary's ex's mother and sister learn that he's in the hospital, they rush to the hospital and bump into Yoonji. But instead of apologizing, they runs away, as if it were Yoonji's fault, not theirs. When a nurse injects Mary's ex, she notices a strong odor. She quietly tells Wooju this, saying, "This is causing a lot of trouble to other patients. Can you do something about it?" He replies, "I can." Then it's revealed that Mary's ex hadn't bathed in days. Angrily, Wooju drags him around, questioning him. Just then, his mom and sister arrive, and he's terrified. Mary's ex tells them, "He was torturing me." His mom glares at Wooju. Poor Wooju quickly runs away. Later, Mary's ex tells his mom and sister that Jenny and I have broken up, and for the first time, he breaks down in front of his mother, crying, "Perhaps I'm being punished for hurting Mary. I can't live without her. Can you please go to her and apologize and bring her back to me? Otherwise, I'll go and die." Hearing this, his mother is utterly stunned, but her arrogance remains unwavering. When she calls Mary, she speaks arrogantly and says, "You've forgotten my son in just a few days." Mary calmly replies, "I've done my duty by taking care of him, and you yourself said, if we weren't meant for each other, I should get out of his life. Now, I never want to see you or your son again, so don't call me again." The next scene shows Wooju coming to pick Mary up and saying, "From now on, I'll pick you up every day. Mary asks, why? So he says, I just want to treat you well. Then he also gives her a bouquet, which means sincerity. Seeing this, Mary becomes a little emotional, but tries not to show it. Meanwhile, we are shown Yoonji and Hyun-seok sitting in a restaurant, waiting for the chairman to arrive. This meeting was arranged by the chairwoman as a token of gratitude, but the chairwoman calls Hyun-seok at the right time and tells him, I can't come because I have something urgent. So, the two of them are left alone. Now the scene becomes quite awkward and also interested. Hyun-seok is about to get up and leave, but Yoonji insists, says, sit down and help me finish my meal. So Hyun-seok sits back down. During the conversation, Yoonji asks him, why do you keep helping a hateful man like Lee Seong? Why do you always listen to him? Yoonji didn't know that he had touched a nerve by asking this question. But when Hyun-seok hears this, he starts drinking. So Yoonji realizes she shouldn't have asked him this question. Meanwhile, when Woo-ju drops Mary home, she gives him a gift because she had to take care of her ex. Then, as she starts to leave, Woo-ju says, I want to show you something. So, he comes home with her. He shows her some diaries he kept when he was 7 years old. In these diaries, he wrote about how he spent his money, what he used to spend it on, and how much he saved, so that Mary knows he's not someone who depends on her for money. Basically, he wants to prove that he's not as shameless as his ex. While Mary is looking at the diary, she suddenly asks, who is this Miso? In fact, Woo-ju had mentioned a girl named Miso several times in his diary. Then he took the diary from her hand and said, just look at what I'm showing you. Don't read anything. Mary asked, is this the girl you like? Woo-ju quickly denied it, but Mary wasn't about to believe him. So Woo-ju tried to take the diary from her, hoping to get closer. Woo-ju wouldn't give it to her, and in the process, Woo-ju fell on top of Mary. Both of them were left breathless for a moment. The atmosphere was already set. Taking advantage of this, Woo-ju went to kiss Mary when suddenly Mary's stomach made a noise, indicating she was hungry, and both of them burst out laughing. Later, after dinner, they were sitting outside in the garden. While chatting, Mary asked, tell me, who is that girl named Miso? Woo-ju replied, actually, her name isn't Miso. She's a mystery girl, and I made it short for Miso. Mary laughs at this, but Woo-ju still doesn't tell her the truth. The girl is none other than Mary. On the other side, we are shown Yoonji, who's had too much to drink and can barely walk. So poor Hyun-seok is the one taking care of her, having even booked a cab for Yoonji. Yoonji, drunk, keeps asking Hyun-seok the same question. Though her question is quite complicated, she asks him like, how do guys look at girls they've known since childhood? Why doesn't the one I love see me as a woman? Hyun-seok is initially surprised by her question. Then he answers honestly, perhaps too honestly. He says, because he never considered you worthy of dating from the beginning. Yoonji's heart breaks upon hearing this, and she sits down and starts crying. Just then, Hyun-seok's car arrives. Yoonji thinks it's her cab, so she leaves to get into his car. Just then, Hyun-seok receives a call from Yoonji's cab driver, who tells him, sir, I can't come because of an emergency. Hearing this, Hyun-seok is devastated. When he reaches his car, he finds Yoonji has fallen asleep in his car. He tries to wake her up, but it's no use. Hyun-seok doesn't know what to do. Now it starts raining at night, so Woo-ju stays at Mary's house. He needed an excuse to stay, and what better excuse could there be than rain? Mary says, there are plenty of bedrooms here. You can go and sleep anywhere. But he sees that Mary's room is quite close, so he decides to sleep there. Then, when Mary brings him a shirt so he can change and sleep, she finds he's already asleep. So she quietly covers him with a blanket and looks at him saying, he looks so cute while he's sleeping. Then, she goes to sleep herself, but he hasn't slept. He was awake. Later, when thunder struck, the sound of it kept them both awake as they were thinking about each other. The next morning, they both dressed in matching couple outfits and went to meet Hyun-seok to remind him that their marriage was real. Hyun-seok met them, but immediately left, citing urgent business as his reasoning. He had to go to Yoonji's place. Here we are shown Yoonji, who was completely unaware of where she was lying. When she woke up, she was confused, looking around, wondering where she was. Then, when she saw her face in the mirror, she was even more shocked, wondering who had done this to her. Then, after racking her brains, she remembered everything she had done to Hyun-seok, how she had hit him on the head, how she had kicked the poor guy off the couch. In reality, Hyun-seok had no idea what to do with Yoonji. That's why he brought her home that night. Still, the poor guy somehow manages to put his self-respect aside and manages to take care of Yoonji, and in the process, he gets a little too close to her. Just then, Yoonji feels the urge to vomit, so she pushes him away and starts running around. Hyun-seok quickly grabs her, takes her to the bathroom, and closes the door. Yoonji is utterly stunned, remembering all her misdeeds. She stealthily tries to run away, but upon hearing Hyun-seok's approach, she runs back and lies on the sofa, pretending to be asleep out of embarrassment. But as soon as Hyun-seok comes in, he realizes she's already up. So, he leaves her food and clothes, telling her, I'm leaving. You can eat and change comfortably. With that, he leaves. On the other side, while Mary and he are out walking, Mary spots a famous athlete. Mary is actually a big fan of his. She asks for his autograph, and he agrees, but he becomes jealous. He pushes Mary aside and gets an autograph on his shirt. Then Mary requests a photo with the athlete, and he agrees. Mary happily poses for the photo, but Woo-Ju is infatuated. He still manages to take a photo with Mary. Later, when Mary sees the photos, she becomes angry at Woo-Ju, asking what kind of photo of hers he took as the sunlight obscured the image clearly. Woo-Ju had actually done this out of jealousy. Now, how can he explain this to Mary? Suddenly, they meet Yoonji, and she is shocked to see them wearing matching clothes. Later, Woo-Ju has to tell her that they're pretending to be a fake couple so Mary can get the house. Hearing this, Yoonji is shocked, asking, "Have you lost your mind?" Yoonji is actually terrified because she realizes that if this gets out, Woo-Ju's company could be in trouble. Not only will Woo-Ju's family not spare him, but the company will also be disgraced. So the next day, Yoonji meets Mary alone and convinces her to end the whole charade and keep Woo-Ju out of it. Otherwise, if things get out of hand, a lot will be ruined. She also reveals Woo-Ju's true identity to Mary, saying he's the heir to Myung Sudong Company. Mary is devastated, and she's left wondering how much Woo-Ju has risked for her. But Yoonji doesn't stop there. She reveals another truth, that Woo-Ju's first love is you, and that he is the same boy your father saved 10 years ago, and that you gave him a toy. Hearing this, Mary is devastated and decides she must leave Seoul and go to her hometown to bury the hatch. After Mary leaves, Yoonji realizes she made a huge mistake, so she calls Woo-Ju and tells him everything, saying she accidentally told Mary everything. Hearing this, Woo-Ju panics and calls Mary and runs away. Mary has just returned to her hometown and is out walking the dog. Just then, Woo-Ju calls her, and her mother sees it, as she had forgotten her phone there. In the next scene, Woo-Ju arrives at Mary's hometown looking for her. Mary finds him there. Later, the two sit together and talk. Mary asks, "Is that mystery girl in your diary is me?" Woo-Ju says, "Yes." Mary then says, "I don't blame you or your family for my dad's death, so there's no need for you to feel bad. And yes, you can stop helping me now. I don't want you to get into any trouble because of me." Woo-Ju says, "I'm helping you because I like you. I'll support you in whatever you do." With that, he immediately kisses her. On the other side, we are shown Mary's mother waiting for her daughter to come home. She picks up the phone to call Mary for dinner, but then stops because she remembers that Mary was so happy and excited when she was getting ready that evening. Mom asks where she's going in such a hurry. Mary tells her that her team leader is here and runs away. Remembering this brings a smile to Mom's face, and she thinks, "It seems something good is happening in my daughter's life." So she decides that today she won't stop or interrupt her and will let her live her life freely. Meanwhile, Mary and Woo-Ju are walking hand in hand through the fields where Mary spent her childhood. Mary tells Woo-Ju that her father often brought her there. Then, as they leave, Woo-Ju reveals a painful truth about his life. "My mom and dad died the day after your father saved my family from an accident. After that, when Grandpa found out that the accident was caused by my distraction, he hated me, thinking I had taken away his son and daughter-in-law. To keep me out of his sight, he sent me abroad, where I began my studies, and from then on, I learned to live on my own." Mary feels very bad for him. Then she asks, "Have you never been to Korea?" Woo-Ju reveals that years ago, he tried to meet Mary during summer vacation. He secretly placed orange juice cans at her gate as a small gesture. But then, he overheard Mary and her mom talking and misunderstood that Mary held him responsible for her dad's death. Hearing this, Mary smiles and says, "If you had waited a little longer, you would have been able to listen further. Mom had actually said that your family's accident wasn't connected to my dad's sacrifice." Hearing this, Woo-Ju feels a little regretful, wishing he had stayed and listened to everything that day. Then Mary takes his hand and says, "All that doesn't matter now. Let's start anew." Later, while walking under the night sky, Mary looks up and points to the brightest star, saying, "I think it's my father watching over me from above." Woo-Ju laughs and replies, "Oh, that's not a star, it's a satellite." This completely ruins Mary's mood. Then Woo-Ju follows her and says, "Well, it's a satellite, but I can be that light that will always be with you." Mary asks, "How?" So he jokingly lifts her onto his back and says, "I'll always be by your side so you never feel alone." At that very moment, he stumbles and falls, knocking Mary over, and they both burst out laughing. They lie there for a while and kiss. Meanwhile, we see Yoonji, who is feeling very guilty about interfering in Woo-Ju and Mary's relationship. Just then, Hyun Seok passes by, and, seeing Yoonji sad, sits down next to her and asks, "What's wrong with you today? Did the person you like tell him what's in your heart?" Hearing this, she breaks down in tears in front of him and says, "The person I like likes someone else, and I tried to come between them, and now I feel bad." Hearing this, Hyun Seok tells her, "Come on, let's go for a run with me. Maybe you'll feel a little lighter. They both start running, Yoonji following behind. But then she leaves her pain behind. She surpasses even Hyun Seok. Later, she stops and cries, "Why did I do this? What were I thinking?" She breaks down in tears, and Hyun Seok just stands there, watching her, saying nothing because sometimes silence is the greatest comfort. Then, we are shown Woo-ju, who stays at Mary's house, and Mary's mom gives him Mary's sister's room to stay in, since Mary doesn't live here, but in the US. Just as Mary is about to fall asleep, Woo-ju sends her a message, asking, "Can you come to my room now?" Mary thinks he's missing her, but as she goes into his room, he points to a bug in fear and says, "Please get rid of it." Poor Mary's sweet mood is ruined. Mary calmly picks it up and throws it out. Woo-ju just stares at her, smiling and hugging her. Just then, Mary's mom knocks on the door so she can put something in Woo-ju's room that keeps mosquitoes away. Mary quickly hides behind Woo-ju, and Woo-ju pretends to be asleep so Mary's mom doesn't notice Mary's presence. When she sees that he's asleep, she also quietly lies down in his room, leaves, and they both fall asleep together. The next morning, Mary's mom prepares a large portion of the traditional food typically served to sons-in-law. In fact, Mary's mom already understood that they liked each other, and she has no problem with Woo-ju becoming their son-in-law. The three of them sit down and eat breakfast, and Mary's mom and Woo-ju have a relaxed and heartfelt conversation about Mary's future. Actually, her mother wants her daughter to be happy and find a life partner who will always love her. So, Woo-ju assures Mary's mother that he will never leave Mary and will always love her. Then, on Mary's father's death anniversary, they all go to the funeral hall, and Woo-ju still thanks him for helping him 10 years ago. Later, Mary's sister receives a video call, and they all start talking to her, and Mom even introduces her to Woo-ju. It turns out that Mary's sister lives in the US and works at a flower shop. Later, when Mary returns home and starts helping Mom with some chores, Woo-ju, seeing this, also starts helping Mary, but he was very close to her. Mom makes an excuse and leaves so they can have privacy. Woo-ju is at a loss to understand what happened to them. Then, seeing Mary laughing, he realizes he's been getting too close to her. Later, they go for a walk along the beach. Mary asks him, "Can you wait a little longer for me until I repay my debt, because I want to stand with you with my head held high in front of your loved ones?" Hearing this, he hugs her and says, "I'm willing to wait for you all my life, but please don't make me wait too long, and remember that I'm always there for you." Meanwhile, Mr. Han is shown leaving for America on a business trip. However, his son, Jang-soo, senses something is amiss. He begins to suspect his father, but he doesn't say anything. Instead, he feels bad for his mother because his father always ignores her. Meanwhile, Mary's ex's mother and sister are at a place to look at furniture. Then, Mary's ex's sister notices Woo-ju and Mary, shows her mother, and says that Mary might be seeing someone else. She quickly takes a photo of them and sends it to her brother, who, upon seeing the photo, becomes furious, realizing that they are becoming too close. Meanwhile, when Mr. Han arrives in America, his true intentions are revealed. He's actually planning to betray the company and start a new life there with his second family. Meanwhile, Mary's ex has been discharged, and upon leaving the hospital, goes straight to Woo-ju's company. He sneaks into the company, where two employees are talking about Woo-ju. He eavesdrops on their conversation, and then he realizes that Woo-ju isn't just any small-time employee, but the heir apparent. Hearing this, his mind shuts down, and he's so ashamed that he goes outside the company at night crying and singing breakup songs. Slowly, he begins to realize that Mary is truly with a better man. The next day, to celebrate the success of the company's new product, the company's chairwoman, Woo-ju's grandmother, invites the entire marketing team to lunch. During lunch, the grandmother offers sweet and wise words, especially about being truthful, as lies are bound to be exposed one day. These words touch Mary's heart, and she feels a pang of guilt, knowing she's tricked Woo-ju into her fake marriage plan. Just as everyone is leaving after lunch, Yoonji arrives to meet the grandmother. Later, as Mary drives off with Woo-ju's team, they gossip about how perfect Yoonji and Woo-ju look together, and how wonderful it would be if they got married. These words pierce Mary's heart like an arrow, and her face turns pale, and her heart becomes heavy. The thought begins to cross her mind, did I really do something wrong? Would Woo-ju be happier with someone else? But then, on the other side, Yoonji herself tells Woo-ju's grandmother, I only see Woo-ju as my brother. Perhaps he could never be a romantic partner for me. Hearing this, the grandmother doesn't say anything. She remains silent. That night, Woo-ju senses that Mary was feeling a little down. So he calls her and says, I'm coming over right now. Get ready. We'll both go out for a walk. Hearing this, she smiles and quickly gets ready. Just then, the doorbell rings, and she thinks it must be him. But standing in front of her is her ex, holding his marriage certificate. the evidence of the fake house scheme and tells Mary, "You must be having so much fun in this fake marriage." Mary's face turns pale. New through a flashback, we come to know that when Mary's ex finally discovers the truth about his divorce papers, that Mary hasn't yet divorced him. He begins to believe that Mary still loves him, but she refuses to accept it. Overjoyed, he arrives at Mary's house carrying a bouquet of flowers. As he gets out of his car, he passes two men talking about a beauty pageant. Looking at Mary's house, he initially ignores it, but suddenly searches online, sensing something is amiss. When he sees a photo of Mary and Woo Ju online as winners of the contest, he understands why Mary hasn't filed the divorce papers with the court. He goes to Mary, furious, and asks her how she feels living a life of a fake marriage. Mary is devastated. Later, the two are sitting face to face inside the house, and Mary's ex, Woo Ju, tells her to break up with her fake husband because he's here. Mary remains silent. He tells her not to say she's in love with him. She doesn't say anything. He threatens her, saying, "I'll tell the beauty department store guys the truth." Mary says, "Tell them anyway. I'm going to tell them the truth anyway, that I cheated them into buying this house." Mary is constantly haunted by the fear of getting caught. So she decides to tell the department store guys the truth. Angrily, he tells himself, "I won't let you tell the truth." He's actually greedy, hoping that Mary won't let him lose this house because of him. He threatens her, saying, "If you don't listen to me, I'll tell everyone the truth, ruin your lover's reputation, and he'll never inherit the Myeongsudong company." To prevent Wooju's future from being ruined, Mary is forced to break up with Wooju because she loves him. Mary's ex leaves. Then Mary calls Wooju and says, "I'm a little tired, so I can't go with you today." Then she hangs up. Meanwhile, when Wooju returns home, his grandmother shows him some old documents. These are the same documents the deceased employee's wife left for the chairwoman. These files mention a company called J Consultancy, which was stealing money from their company or embezzling it. Now, Grandma tells Wooju the whole matter and tells him to investigate the matter, but his uncle mustn't find out about it, because the company was hired by him. This means that Grandma suspects Wooju's uncle might be committing fraud. By the way, her suspicions are correct. When he returns home and carefully studies the documents, he begins to suspect his uncle is involved, remembering that these are the same documents he saw with his uncle. The next day, Mary and Wooju are just missing each other. Wooju thinks Mary is still upset by what his grandmother said. While he has his coffee, he overhears two employees talking. Actually, they was giving some tips on how to cheer up girls when they're in a bad mood. Hearing this, he begins to eavesdrop on their conversation and jots down everything. He then sneaks out and makes plans to meet Mary, but Mary says, "I'm a little busy, we'll talk later," and then hangs up. Wooju thinks she's still upset about the same thing. Just then, Wooju receives an email from a man named John. Wooju had asked John for help finding out about J Consulting, as John lives in the United States and is a good friend of Wooju's, and J Consulting is an American company. John tells Wooju everything he's discovered about J Consulting, revealing that its CEO is a woman named Jessica, whose Korean name is Min Jeong. Meanwhile, in America, Wooju's uncle's second wife, Min Jeong, is very angry with him because Mr. Han hasn't yet divorced his Korean wife, his first wife. In fact, she wants her younger son, Henry, to be able to live openly with his father. Mr. Han, who married his first wife solely for money, tries to calm Min Jeong down, telling her to be patient. "Just wait a little longer," he says. "Let the right time come, and everything will work out." During their argument, a shocking revelation emerges. Their legal marriage lasted only 8 years, but they've been together for 27 years. This suggests their relationship is much older and deeper than it appears. This revelation raises further suspicions, whether Min Jeong has any connection to the mysterious death of Wooju's parents. Just then, Mary's sister arrives. She had come to drop Henry off at his home from tuition, and Min Jeong gives her the money, and she leaves. Here we're shown in Korea. Wooju messages Mary and invites her for an urgent meeting and comes to pick her up, as he's beginning to feel that a small misunderstanding is driving the distance between them. So he plans a small picnic and brings Mary along to try to bring them closer. But during that time, Mary breaks up with Wooju, making various excuses, leaving Wooju heartbroken and at a loss to understand what happened. So he messages Mary and says, "I know this is difficult for you. I should have been more considerate of your feelings. I'm sorry. You should rest a little today. We'll talk another day." Reading this message, Mary's eyes fill with tears. Meanwhile, we are shown Hyun Suk, who is deeply entangled in his work. He has to arrange a house for the mayor's ailing mother at Beauty Palace, but there are no vacant houses at that location right now. In other words, there are no available ones, and the house they were supposed to get was in the contest. Mary won this. In fact, only when the mayor finds a house in this location will he grant Lee Seong permission to open a new store. So Lee Seong pressures Hyun Seok, asking when he'll find a house in this location. He tells him that it will take about 10 months for a new building to be built. Hearing this, Lee Seong mocks and insults him. So Hyun Seok, depressed, goes for a run in the evening to clear his mind. Afterward, he stops at a store and buys a drink. Then he meets Yoonji again, and they talk. She sees him and asks, "What's wrong? Why are you so upset today?" He simply tells her that someone insulted him very badly today. Yoonji assumes it must be his boss, so she advises him to quit his job. He explains that his life situation is such that he can't quit. He knows he has to endure this because he has no other option. Actually, Lee Seong's father had done him many favors, such as paying for his education, and now Hyun Seok is burdened by his favors. The next day, Woo-ju is seen in the office, still upset about the breakup, and Mary's constant avoidance only makes him more depressed. Mary, meanwhile, is in a similar state. They spend the day missing each other. Then the next day, the security team arrives and informs Woo-ju that a strange man had come to the company a few days ago to complain about him. When Woo-ju checks the CCTV footage, he discovers that the strange man is none other than Mary's ex. Woo-ju begins to understand that perhaps Mary's ex has found out the truth and pressured her to break up with him. So he sets out to meet Mary. On the other side, it's shown that Mary's ex has come to visit her again and says, "Now that's over between us. Let's talk about the two of us." Mary doesn't understand what he's saying. Her ex says, "Forgive me, then accept me." In other words, he asks her for a second chance so he can live with her in this house. But Mary says, "We can't keep this house because I'm going to tell the manager the truth." Just as Mary is about to tell Hyun Seok the truth, her ex stops her, and a fight ensues between them. In a fit of rage, her ex says, "If you tell the truth, I'll ruin Woo-ju's career." Mary yells at him to keep him away from all this and starts to leave, and he angrily tries to attack her. But just in time, Woo-ju grabs his hand and punches him. Then he plays a recording of everything Mary's ex said to Mary, proving that he, along with Mary and Woo-ji, is now involved in this fraud, so that he can't blackmail her in the future. After playing this recording, he tells him, "If you ever even get close to Mary again, I'll play this recording to everyone, exposing your greed and lies." Mary's ex leaves angrily, saying, "I'll ruin you both, just watch." After this altercation, Mary and Woo-ju reunite and vow that no matter what happens, they won't leave each other. They then kiss. The next day, it's revealed that the Myeong-Sudong Company's anniversary event is taking place tomorrow. When Woo-ju looks at the guest list, he finds the name of a beauty department store on it. He's shocked, wondering if they'll even be attending. Later, he learns that Lee Seong and his boss are traveling to Japan on a business trip, so they won't be able to attend. The poor guy is very relieved to hear this news. While he's sitting with his grandmother, she tells him to bring the girl he likes with him to the event tomorrow. In fact, when Yoonji told his grandmother that she considers Woo-ju her brother, her grandmother had realized that there was another girl in Woo-ju's life. Woo-ju says, "Yes, I'll definitely introduce you to her tomorrow." Later that night, he calls Mary, telling her to come well-dressed tomorrow. She must impress his grandmother. Now, we are shown the day of the event, where Mary is quite nervous. So Woo-ju comes to her and calms her down, and then introduces her to his grandmother. Mary congratulates them, because the company has celebrated its 80th anniversary. Just as they're about to announce their relationship, Grandma starts to leave. But as she's leaving, she sees Woo-ju and Mary and realizes that Joe likes Mary. But she didn't mind, because her grandson had found true love. The event begins, and several employees receive awards, and the chairwoman takes the stage to give her speech. Just then, Woo-ju's uncle receives a call from Hyun Seok, who tells him that they're on their way to another event because their meetings in Japan ended early, so they return to Korea. When Woo-ju learns this news, he's shocked, and then tells Mary via text that Hyun Seok and his boss, Lee, are coming. Now, after leaving the event, they decide to reveal the truth about their fraud to the chairwoman first, and then to Hyun Seok. As Mary nervously leaves the event, she meets Woo-ju's grandmother on the way. The grandmother lovingly asks, "Are you close to my Woo-ju? He's my grandson. If you're busy today, come visit me at home another day." With that, she leaves. But Hyun Seok overheard all of this. He calls Lee Seong and says, "I can get you the house you won in the contest." Then he goes straight to Woo-ju and asks, "Are you two really married?" Hearing this, Woo-ju is left speechless. Just then, Yoonji arrives and tells Hyun Seok that she urgently needs to talk to him alone. So, Hyun Seok goes with her, and they talk separately, where Yoonji reveals the truth about Mary and Woo-ju's fake marriage. In fact, when Woo-ju's grandmother was talking to Mary, not only Hyun Seok but Yoonji also overheard their conversation, and she saw Hyun Seok there, so she felt it was right to tell Hyun Seok the truth. She then asked what punishment they could face. Hyun Seok simply says that if they are no longer married, the price will be taken back and they will also face legal responsibilities. This means that legal action will be taken against both of them. Now, how can Yoonji allow this to happen to Woo-ju? She actually has a recording to blackmail Hyun Seok. She takes out her phone and shows him a video. This is a recording from the same day when the mayor and Lee Seong were discussing how they were negotiating a deal to get a permit for a new store in exchange for a house at the beauty palace. Yoonji had come to return the clothes Hyun-seok had given her last time, and at that very moment, the conversation between the mayor and Lee Seong was recorded on Yoonji's car's dashboard. Now Hyun-seok is shocked and asks, "Are you blackmailing me?" Yoonji replies, "I'm just making a deal with you and protecting the person I love, just like you're protecting your boss." Hyun-seok says, "That means you like Woo-ju." She says, "Yes." Hyun-seok thinks it's best to remain silent, because if he reveals the truth about Mary and Woo-ju, the mayor's scandal will also be exposed. Then a flashback to an hour ago is shown. In fact, those who couldn't attend the event had sent bouquets in their own names, and one of them was for David Lee, the managing director of the Carl's Hotel. When Lee Seong notices it, he says, "David left the hotel." Then, Mr. Han tries to avoid the issue. The chairwoman becomes suspicious and orders her secretary to investigate David's whereabouts, as their company is currently working on a new project with the Carl's Hotel. In the present, Woo-ju is telling Mary that Hyun-seok might be suspicious of them, but Yoonji arrives and handles the situation. Woo-ju doesn't understand how they know each other. Putting all that aside, they start spending some time together and starts kissing. But then, Mary's sister arrives at their house and upon entering begins to look around the house. Then, her eyes fall on Woo-ju, and she's frightened to see him suddenly there. Mary tries to say something, but her sister pacifies her. She looks at Woo-ju from top to bottom and says, "Pass." She then tells him, "My sister gets angry a lot, but she's a good person at heart, so take care of her." Mary tries to pacify her. Meanwhile, her sister refuses to calm down, and seeing Woo-ju nervous, she says, "Don't worry about me. Continue whatever you two were doing. I'll quietly find an empty room and sleep here." Woo-ju replies, No, I was just leaving." She then says, "But I don't think so." Mary quickly looks at Woo-ju's lips and begins to clean them, leaving them both extremely uncomfortable. Woo-ju quickly leaves, but his sister still teases him. Then, we are shown Mr. Han, who overheard Woo-ju's grandmother at the event, telling her secretary to find out about David. He comes and tells her that David defrauded her of her money. Hearing this, Woo-ju's grandmother is so shocked that she suffers a mild heart attack. However, Mr. Han, pretending to help her, gives her the wrong medication. Then, he reveals his true colors, saying, "The whole problem is not David's, but mine. J Consulting is my company, and in its name, I stole a lot of money from your company." Hearing this, Woo-ju's grandmother is deeply shocked and realizes that the man she trusted has betrayed and ruined her. She can't bear it, and under the influence of the medication, she collapses and slowly falls unconscious. Later, she's shown in the hospital, surrounded by her family. Yoonji's father, a doctor, explains that the chairwoman has fallen into a coma, and that if she doesn't regain consciousness, she won't survive. Hearing this, everyone except Mr. Han begins to cry. Now Mr. Han doesn't regret his actions in the slightest, instead smiling, knowing no one will stand in his way. The next day, the company faces a major crisis. The news reports that the chairwoman has fallen into a coma and that all the company's funds have disappeared through a fraudulent contract. This news causes panic among all shareholders, who fear the company's bankruptcy. Meanwhile, Mr. Han begins to manipulate everyone, and Woo-ju becomes increasingly distressed, unsure of what to do. Mary meets him, comforts him, and gives him hope that everything will be all right. When Yoonji sees them together, her heart breaks once again, and she comes over for a drink. Hyun-seok also arrives at the bar, and seeing Yoonji, sits down next to him. Both, somewhat broken by their troubles, begin to talk over drinks. Yoonji says, "You do so much for your boss, but he doesn't appreciate you." Hyun-seok replies, "I think I'm just doing my duty." Yoonji replies, "It's not wrong to fulfill your duty, but it's not right to lose yourself." Hearing this, a sweet smile appears on Hyun-seok's face for the first time, and a sense of peace flows between them. Meanwhile, Mr. Han hatches a grand plan to seize control of the company's shares. He plans to introduce Jessica to the company tomorrow as a woman named Salvia, who will pretend to be a famous American investor and has already made all the arrangements to divorce his first wife. Meanwhile, Woo-ju also learns that an investor named Salvia will be visiting him tomorrow. So he does some research on her and shows Mary a photo of her. The photo turns out to be from an awards ceremony, where Mr. Han is presenting her with the award. Mary looks at the photo and says, "I've probably seen this lady somewhere." Then she remembers and says, "Oh, it's Jessica." She brings out a photo of her sister, in which Jessica is with her. Mary's sister used to work at Jessica's restaurant and was her boss, so Mary knows Jessica. To confirm, she calls her sister and sends her a photo. Mary's sister immediately reveals that this isn't Salvia, but Jessica, and that the man with her is her husband. When Mary's sister dropped Henry off at his home in America, she saw Mr. Han playing with Henry through the window. Now Woo-ju is shocked to learn this and realizes that his Uncle Han is not just a liar, but a complete fraud. Here, Jang-soo also learns that his father is about to divorce his mother, but he doesn't want to upset her, so he keeps quiet for now. The next day, Mr. Han introduces his second wife, Jessica, to the company as planned, disguised as Salvia, who also masterfully pretends to be a famous American investor. Woo-ju is amazed at how well his uncle is acting. However, he pretends to be unaware of their relationship, as Mary had already warned him not to do anything right now. Let's see what his uncle does first. Mr. Han and Jessica begin discussing a deal to buy shares. Then, Woo-ju becomes convinced that the matter is serious. Later, Woo-ju tells Mary about the meeting and tells her they're planning to liquidate the company and sell it at a low price. So Mary wishes Chairwoman would regain consciousness. But here, Chairwoman is shown to be still in a coma, and her daughter is crying, saying, "Mom, please regain consciousness. I will obey everything you say and will never fight with you again." Then, Chairwoman's hand moves slightly. In the next scene, Jang-soo is talking to his mother on the phone, saying, "Oh, Grandma has regained consciousness. I'm coming to the hospital right now." But Mr. Han overhears this and becomes afraid that his truth might be revealed, or everything will be over. So he calls Jessica and tells her to go to the hospital immediately and kill Chairwoman. As Jessica arrives at the hospital and goes to kill Grandma, it's revealed that Woo-ju had set a trap for her, and the police arrest her and take her away. Then a flashback show that Mary was the one planning the entire plan. But to execute the plan, they need Jang-soo's help. So, Woo-ju confronts Jang-soo about it and tells him the truth about his father. There, it's revealed that Jang-soo already knew his father had a second family, but he never dared to ask his father about it. He then agrees to help Woo-ju, and in the present, the police arrest Jessica on charges of attempted murder. Mary's sister is now caring for her son. Meanwhile, Mr. Han visits Jessica in jail, trying to erase all evidence so he doesn't get caught in Jessica's affair. So, he sweet-talks Jessica, saying, "I'll take care of our son, Henry, and get you out of here. Just don't open your mouth." Then, when he arrives at the office, Woo-ju is already there, waiting for Mr. Han to arrive. He demands answers. "Why did you betray us? I know everything. Jessica is your second wife, and you have a young son. Tell me, why did you lie?" Mr. Han immediately feigns innocence, saying, "Jessica threatened me and is forcing her son on me," but he didn't know he recorded it all. Then Woo-ju goes straight to jail to meet Jessica and asks, "You must have tried to kill my grandmother," but she doesn't say anything. Woo-ju says, "That means my grandmother knew you and my uncle were conspiring against her." Jessica replies, "I don't know your uncle personally." Woo-ju then plays the current recording, in which Mr. Han says that Jessica threatened him and that his son isn't his. Hearing this, Jessica is shocked, thinking, "That means Mr. Han betrayed me too." Now she agrees to tell Woo-ju the truth about Mr. Han, and that she has evidence of Mr. Han's dark deeds. She tells Woo-ju all this, and in return requests that he keep her son, Henry, safe. Here, we see Mr. Han, who has come to Jessica's house to destroy the evidence against him, and begins searching for where she might have kept it. Then, he comes across her son's fairway toy, and it is there that she finds the evidence. Along with the evidence of her fraud, there is also evidence that he caused the accident of Woo-ju's parents. Now, after seeing all this evidence, he's about to take the USB with him. When he finds Woo-jo standing at the door, his eyes filled with both pain and anger because he heard the recording. He tells Mr. Han, "So, you were the one behind my parents' accident." Mr. Han just stands there looking at him. Then a flashback is shown when Woo-ju is in jail and has come to visit Jessica. Woo-ju says, "If you want to protect your child, then tell me the truth." Then she tells him the truth and asks him to keep her son safe. "Promise me you'll keep him safe. Send him to my relatives who live on Jeju Island." So Woo-ju makes this promise. As she is about to leave, Woo-ju notices a tattoo on her neck. It's actually the same mark associated with her parents' death. When Woo-ju was young, he saw this tattoo on the truck driver's neck during the accident. Woo-ju is haunted by the memory and his mind is shaken. He suffers an anxiety attack and immediately leaves the scene, where Mary comes to help him. Later, Woo-ju tells her that Jessica caused her parents' accident. He is also involved in the accident because he has the same tattoo on his neck as the driver. Then Mary, trying to calm him down, explains that she too had heard that she had worked at the Myeong-sudong company long ago as a secretary. Both Mr. Han and Jessica had probably been planning the fraud for years. The story then returns to the present, where Woo-ju catches his uncle red-handed and is shocked to learn that he killed his parents. Mr. Han is unfazed. Instead, he laughs at Woo-ju, as he can no longer do anything. He shamelessly confesses, "Yes, I did all the planning and caused the accident. What can you do now?" He then, dismissing Woo-ju's anger, says that the entire time limit has passed. He says that he can't file a case against him even if he wants to. Hearing this, Woo-ju is deeply shaken. He is both furious at him and also feels helpless. In a flashback, it's revealed that Woo-ju's father caught Mr. Han having an extramarital affair with Jessica, so he killed Woo-ju's parents to prevent him from blackmailing him again. Mr. Han then reveals this to Woo-ju, laughing in his face. Outside, he encounters the police, who immediately arrest him on charges of involvement and inform him that David was caught gambling and his phone contained evidence of his involvement. Now Woo-ju seizes the opportunity to tell the police that Mr. Han also murdered his parents. He shows the officers a dashcam footage recorded on his mobile phone on April 26, 2009. In the footage, Mr. Han bribes the detective to close the case of Woo-ju's parents' deaths. Now, that date proves that the legal imitation isn't over yet, with only a week left. Mr. Han is now in dire straits. This means his chapter is finally closed. The next day, when the court sentences him to death for his crimes, all his arrogance vanishes in an instant. After that, Woo-ju visits his parents' grave with Mary and introduces them to her. Later, they both go to Hyun-seok's house, reveal the truth about their fake marriage, and apologize. But Hyun-seok doesn't react because, obviously, he knows everything. Meanwhile, Woo-ju's grandmother also recovers from her coma, and everyone is overjoyed. The company's reputation has also improved. This means everyone's lives are getting back on track. Woo-ju's aunt also apologizes to Woo-ju on behalf of her husband and for her own behavior, explaining that she had no idea he had done all this. Now, she has broken up with him. Please forgive me. Woo-ju, who had no resentment against her, tells her, "It's not your fault. Don't apologize now. We're all family." Then, we are shown Chen, an employee from Woo-ju's company, whose house the entire team was going to have dinner. The other employees have come shopping because it's not nice to go home empty-handed. Mary and Woo-ju have also come shopping at the same place. Seeing the other team members, they start hiding because they hadn't told anyone about their relationship. Everyone meets at Chen's house, and after dinner, they play truth or dare, asking each other questions related to their relationship. When it's Woo-ju's turn to perform ablution, he's asked if he has a girlfriend. He admits yes. Then, when it's Mary's turn, she's asked the same question, so she drinks to avoid it. Whenever Mary's turn comes and she's asked these kinds of questions, she drinks, which offends him. Later, he asks Mary privately, "Why don't you want to tell anyone about us?" She replies, "First of all, I'll tell my only friend, who is my colleague. I want to tell her. Then I'll tell everyone." And then she convinces him with her sweet words. But then it turns out that all the employees were watching them. Seeing them, Woo-ju and Mary get scared. Later, it's revealed that everyone already knows about their dating, so they were playing truth or dare to get the truth out of them. Actually, the girls had just seen them as a couple in the supermarket. Meanwhile, Chen already knew about it because he saw them hugging at the company one day. Now everyone starts asking them when they started dating. So Woo-ju tells them that he first met Mary when he was 9 years old and has had a crush on her ever since. Both of them are very shy when they reveal their relationship. Everyone is very happy for them. The next day, Jang-soo visits his father in prison and reveals that he's known about their affair for years. Hearing this, Mr. Han is shocked, as the son he thought was stupid turns out to be intelligent. He then clearly tells Mr. Han that he no longer has any relationship with him, that he will take care of his mother himself, and then leaves. It's also revealed that Mr. Han's wife accompanied her son to the prison, but she doesn't meet her husband because she no longer wants to see his face. Meanwhile, it's shown that the mayor's scandal comes to light. He was the one who was asking Lee Seong for a place at Beauty Palace. This puts Lee Seong's company's reputation at stake, and Lee Seong's father severely reprimands him. He summons Hyun-seok and tells him to handle the matter quickly, as the mayor was accused of corruption, and therefore, his company was also about to be investigated. On the other hand, Yoonji and his team visit an orphanage to conduct health checkups for the children. Meanwhile, Hyun-seok also visits the same orphanage to meet the teachers and give them flowers on their birthdays, as Hyun-seok grew up in this orphanage. Yoonji sees Hyun-seok leaving and approaches him asking, "What are you doing here?" They then stop at a cafe and start talking. Hyun-seok tells her, "I grew up in this orphanage and often come here to eat. I have many memories from here." Seeing his face, Yoonji says, "You should laugh a little sometimes, friend. Why don't you call me once a week? I'll make you laugh." Somewhere along the way, Yoonji and Hyun-seok were growing closer. Then, Hyun-seok recounts his childhood as an orphan, how Lee Seong's family adopted him and gave him a new life, and how he's paying the price for it today. Yoonji feels deeply saddened by this, as his life was nothing short of hell. Meanwhile, Mary's ex, Woo-ju, is completely devastated because he can't find work and is rejected by every interview he's given. He now feels that Woo-ju's life is improving without effort, so he becomes withdrawn, and after getting very drunk, he gives the taxi driver Mary's address instead of his own. The taxi driver drops him off at Mary's house. Seeing Mary's home, Woo-ju rushes to meet her, but seeing Mary happy with Woo-ju intensifies his jealousy. The next day, it's shown that Mary and Woo-ju are sleeping together. Woo-ju wakes up early and makes breakfast for Mary. It seems they are truly a newlywed couple. He then drops Mary off at her office. Just when everything seemed to be falling into peace, Mary's ex, Woo-ju, creates another problem. He sends an email to all media outlets claiming that Woo-ju, the heir to the Myeong-sudang company, has caused a major scandal. If they want to know about it, They should come to the press conference. He had actually organized a press conference where he was going to reveal the truth about Wooju and Mary's fake marriage, a marriage that was arranged in his name to save the house she won. Although Wooju and Mary had already told Hyun-seok everything and were preparing to leave the house, this act by Wooju, Mary's ex, has once again tarnished the reputation of the Myeong-Sudong company. Mary's ex has also sent Mary the address of the press conference. Seeing this, she understands that he's up to something and quickly tells Wooju, which also makes her tense. Meanwhile, Hyun-seok and Lee Seong are dealing with the consequences of the Seoul mayor's scandal. Lee Seong tells him that he'll admit his mistake because all the documents, signatures, and transactions are in his name. He then reminds him of the favors his family has done him. Hyun-seok, already heartbroken by her friend's betrayal, asks him one last time, "Have you ever considered me your friend? Even if just for a moment?" Lee Seong replies, "Of course, what kind of question are you asking? We're both friends." But the next moment, he says something that clearly shows that he never considered Hyun-seok his friend in his heart, and that's where their friendship ends completely. Meanwhile, Mary's ex prepares to reveal the truth. He's already sent an email to reporters. Now, he practices his speech and tries to mentally prepare himself for how he'll present his case to the media. But as soon as Lee Seong learns of this, he orders his legal team to stop him, because his company's reputation was already at stake due to the mayor scandal. And now, if Mary and Wooju's fraud comes out, it will also become clear that the company hasn't yet registered the contest house in Mary's name, meaning they're committing fraud in this case as well. Now, the legal team sent by Lee Seong gathers and confiscates all the evidence Mary's ex has and threatens Wooju that if he holds this press conference, whether it's true or false, the company will sue him, meaning they will sue him. Hearing this, Wooju is completely devastated. The pressure is so great that he collapses right there. Mary, seeing him in this state, panics and approaches him. He begs for help. "Please help me. What should I do? I can't bear this alone." Mary replies, "I can't do anything. Why did you have to do all this?" Seeing Wooju completely broken, she comforts him and tells him to move on, saying, "Let's forget everything you did to me and just be happy. I love Wooju. I'm happy with him. So I want you to be happy too, and move on." Here, after much deliberation, instead of protecting Hyun-seok during the investigation, Hyun-seok reveals the truth. His testimony exposes the entire scam, including how Lee Seong was fraudulently trying to obtain a permit license for his department store from the mayor, and much more. When Lee Seong realizes that Hyun-seok didn't take the blame, he is devastated, and his control, anger, and fear all turn into an emotional breakdown. Sometime later, Mary makes a drastic decision, files for divorce, and comes out to breathe fresh air, having regained her freedom. Just then, Wooju comes to pick her up, and Mary hugs him tightly. Then, they return to the house they won in the contest, pack up everything, and Mary leaves forever. As they are about to leave, the manager of the beauty department store calls Mary to inform her that the contest house is owned by her. Mary, however, says she's divorced, and according to the rules, can't claim the house. She then hangs up, ignoring the manager's explanation. Later, Hyun-seok meets Yoonji, who is worried about him. Hyun-seok tells her, "I'll only take responsibility for my actions, but Lee Seong forced me. I won't bear his burden anymore." Yoonji's sweet nature, understanding, and practical thinking give Hyun-seok a peace he hasn't felt in a long time. In her presence, he feels for the first time that he's not alone. Meanwhile, after being discharged from the hospital, Wooju's grandmother calls Mary and invites her to visit this week. At the same time, Mary's ex is sitting with a reporter. She asks him, "Why did you cancel the press conference that day? You wanted to tell us something about the company heirs fraud, right?" Wooju says he just had a misunderstanding and apologizes to the reporter. Wooju's mother and sister are passing by at the same time. They see Wooju and assume he's on a blind date. So they listen to him, and after the reporter leaves, Wooju's mother asks him what the press conference is all about. Out of nervousness, Wooju tells them the truth. They can't believe Mary is about to marry into a wealthy family. Then they discover that the person who took care of Wooju in the hospital is none other than the owner of a major company. To expose Mary, they visit Wooju's grandmother and tell her that they're divorced. The grandmother is shocked to hear this. Then, both mother and sister together reveal how Mary fraudulently acquired the house and involved Wooju in it. They tell Wooju's grandmother everything. In the next scene, when Mary comes to visit, her grandmother calls Wooju and tells him, "I'll see Mary some other day." She had already canceled her plans to meet Mary. So Mary leaves from outside the house. When Wooju comes inside and meets her grandmother, he's shocked to learn that she already knows everything. He apologizes, but the damage has already been done. Meanwhile, Mary's ex deeply regrets betraying a woman like Mary and realizes he's now paying the price for his actions. So, looking at her photo, he apologizes profusely. Just then, his sister calls and tells him what she and mom did to Mary. That is, they met her grandmother and told her the full truth. Hearing this, he starts crying, asking why they couldn't just leave Mary alone. Why did they do this? Her ex messages Mary and apologizes. Mary then understands why Wooju's grandmother canceled the meeting at the last minute. Here, Wooju is worried about how to convince her grandmother, who can't tolerate lies. Mary has completely lost hope, thinking that Wooju's grandmother might not agree to their relationship. So, to calm her nerves, she calls her mother and tells her everything. The next day, Mary's mother arrives at the seal with her other daughter and angrily declares, "I'm going to settle this matter with you today." On the way, they see Mary's ex's mother and sister. Mary's mother immediately attacks them. Later, Mary's sister, in a rage, confronts Wooju's sister, and their fight becomes heated, filthy, and filled with long-standing grievances. Everyone in the neighborhood comes to watch, as if they're watching a movie. The next morning, Hyun-seok meets Yoon-ji again, and they go jogging together. He reveals that he's going to jail soon. So, before leaving, he makes a sweet request. "Will you take care of my turtles?" Because now he trusts her the most. The next day, Wooju and Mary come to the restaurant for dinner. They're at a loss. How could Wooju tell her that her grandmother found out? Mary, too, is left wondering how to tell Wooju that she knows why Wooju's grandmother doesn't want to see her. So they just chat about random things. Just then, Wooju gets a call from her grandmother, and he goes outside to talk. While paying the bill, Mary overhears Wooju trying to convince her grandmother that it's impossible for them to be together. So she spends the night sitting sadly in the playground just next to her apartment. When Wooju comes to visit, he sees her sitting in the park and asks, "What are you doing here?" Mary then tells him, "I know your grandmother is against our relationship." Then Wooju shows her a ring his grandmother gave him and explains that she just needed some time to think, but she wasn't against you. Mary then asks, "But today you were trying to convince your grandmother on a call at the restaurant. What was that?" He replies, "Grandma wants me to be the CEO of the company right now, but I was trying to convince her and asking her to think again." Mary's misgivings are now cleared up. Then Wooju proposes to her right there, and Mary sincerely says yes, and they kiss. The next day, Wooju's grandmother, and finally meets Mary in a proper way. Wooju's aunt and cousin also arrive. The aunt, seeing Mary, says, "You look exactly like your mother." She then asks, "When did you both meet my mother?" Then, in a flashback, it's shown that Wooju's aunt and cousin met Mary's mother as customers to see how she was and what her work was like. Her nature impressed both the aunt and Wooju's cousin, and they immediately liked her. In fact, Wooju's grandmother had sent them. Then, they all discussed the wedding date. Wooju explained, "Mary and I have decided to get married after a year. We'll get married because I've just become the CEO of the company. So, I just want to focus on the company." So, everyone agrees. Then, Yoon-ji is shown taking care of Hyun-seok's turtles, lovingly, since Hyun-seok has gone to prison to serve his sentence. Yoon-ji writes him warm and sweet letters, giving him updates on her life and news about his turtles, which bring a sweet smile to his face. A full year passes from here, and it's shown that today is Wooju and Mary's wedding day, and everyone is busy preparing for it, and the garden is beautifully decorated. Everyone is happy in their own ways. When Wooju's aunt is talking to Mary's mother, it's revealed that Mary's mother's shop has become very famous and is doing very well. All the guests have arrived. Hyun-seok has also been released from prison. Yoon-ji sees him and quickly approaches him, as he was her date, and they just smile and look at each other. Later, Wooju's grandmother also arrives, ready, and now the wedding ceremony begins. Mary and Wooju walk through the asylum hand in hand and leave all their pain and struggles behind, starting their new life, and everyone is overjoyed for them. And finally, at this moment, our drama has a happy ending.